I spent the majority of my life with those dark emotions, with those deep emotions, with those hurtful, painful emotions of not feeling loved, feeling like I wasn't worthy, feeling like I couldn't do anything. I had all those emotions bottled inside. Nobody wanted me, all that stuff. I had it bottled inside for so many years. So many years. I can understand where these people who maybe they're doing drugs, they're on alcohol, they self-injure, some people that commit suicide. I can understand why they would think to choose those behaviors. Because if you don't feel there's any hope, if you don't feel there's any way out, you only have two options. One, get yourself in a state where you're numbing the pain constantly, or remove yourself from life altogether. And so my why is to help people, to teach people who are on the edge to not give up, to persevere so they can have the lives that they've always wanted, the lives that they dreamed of, to give them hope of a better future. Hope is a light. And a lot of times people liken hope to a light. And that's exactly what it is. That's what that anchor is. That anchor is a light. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the FCS Prep Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Keith Fairclough, and this is the place where real change happens right now. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about my audience. Who am I speaking with? Before I usually do a podcast, I usually do a little bit of prep work beforehand. I do a big study where just kind of fleshing out all the ideas and I'm writing it out. And it's usually, a few pages long for each podcast, right? 3-4 pages long for each podcast. Then I try to titrate that and filter it down to fit it in to our 20-minute, 30-minute podcast. So it's just not too overwhelming, and I make sure I hit all the points and I make sure I'm not rambling. But this one, I sat there and I tried to do the same thing, and I honestly just felt like it'd be better for this podcast specifically just to come straight from the heart. No prep work. Did do a little study, but I didn't titrate it down. So I'm just giving you exactly what's on my heart, exactly what's on my mind. And so who is my audience? Who am I supposed to be talking to? Who am I targeting? Where's my niche, right? So I'm in the speaker course and they asked me that same question, and it was kind of difficult for me to kind of narrow it down. And I believe I shared in another podcast a couple episodes ago, maybe the last episode, where I was talking about my purpose, finding my why. And I think I did share that and expressing that and how exciting that was and everything like that. And so in that process of finding my why was more so not so much finding my why as much as it was finding out who am I talking to, who needs what I have. And so my why is to help people, to teach people who are on the edge to not give up, to persevere so they can have the lives that they've always wanted, the lives that they dreamed of, to give them hope of a better future. And so that's something I desire for all the people that I'm listening to. But where does this all even come from? So this comes from my own personal experiences. For me, I spent a majority of my life kind of hiding within myself. I spent the majority of my life with those dark emotions, with those deep emotions, with those hurtful, painful emotions of not feeling loved, feeling like I wasn't worthy, feeling like I couldn't do anything. I had all those emotions bottled inside. Nobody wanted me, all that stuff. I had it bottled inside for so many years. So many years. I'm talking about for 30 plus years, guys. So we're not talking about, and I'm only 38 going on 39. It's been there for a while. And when I say bottling up emotions, so see, here's the thing. I always knew how to put on. I knew how to hide emotions, and as I got older, I learned how to hide them even better. I learned how to, put a smile on when I didn't feel like smiling. I knew how to make sure my face looked a certain way. I made sure I knew how to be super kind and help people, just to keep people at arm's length so they wouldn't get too close. I knew how to do all that. And I became a master at it over time. But what I realized was no matter how much good I do, no matter how kind I am, no matter what effort I put forth, those feelings are still there. No matter what connections I made, those feelings, those deep, dark feelings were still there. Because see, here's what I did, guys. I never expressed how I felt. I never shared how I felt to people. I never found that person to talk to, right? So what I would do is I would always push it down. The best way I can describe it is like it's like having a pit, like a deep pit. And when you're younger, the pit is empty. And so, but as time goes on, you put more in there and more in there and more in there and more in there and more in there. And then eventually, over time, that pit gets filled to the max. Almost think of it like a sewage tank. I know that's kind of disgusting, but think of it like that. Like after a while, it has to be drained. But see, this deep, dark pit within inside me, I never drained it. I didn't go to therapy. I didn't talk to anybody about it. I didn't share anything about how I felt or anything like that. I just kept it all inside, all those hurt feelings, the times I was hurt and didn't talk about it, the times I was offended and didn't talk about it, the times I was rejected and neglected and didn't talk about it. I didn't share any of that. I just hid it all deep down in myself. And like I said before, I was great at covering it up. I knew how to do church. I knew how to do school. I knew how to do friends. I knew how to do family. I knew how to do all that. I could operate in any setting at any point in time. And you would never know. You would never know. But deep down, I was hurt bad. I was hurt really, really bad. I never shared it with anybody. So I finally realized, and I'll say this, and there have been plenty of, before I even talk about what I've realized, there have been plenty of times when I broke down. Because see, what happened is after I kept pushing down and pushing down and pushing down, eventually it would just be an overflow. There would be some thoughts that would come to my head. Usually, oh, you're not doing anything. You're not worth anything. Nobody wants you. Nobody loves you. Why are you even here? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your efforts. All these thoughts would start coming to my mind, and I would believe them. And I would just break down. I would just start sobbing and crying, and then I would never do it around anybody. I never would tell anybody. I never would share it with anybody. And many times, I would break down and after a while, I have to clean my face up, wash my eyes out, control my breathing, suck it up. Sometimes I'd have to focus so hard on keeping all those emotions in. I would give myself a migraine. I'd give myself a headache. It would hurt so bad. I was trying to hold it all in. I had to package it all myself back together, get it all together, dry your eyes, dry your tears, put on the show, put on whatever it is. You're a family, you're a father, you're a husband, you're a church guy, you're a therapist, whatever. Put it all on because it's showtime. You got to keep going. And so there was times I even wrote this reflection, so to speak, called the Black Canvas. And maybe one day I'll talk about it. But basically it's a reflection about that experience of being in that deep, dark place, that place where a lot of times you feel that there's no hope, like all your efforts are wasted, and that's where I was. And I've already talked about it in the last video, in the last series of the Don't Give Up series, about my experience driving down the street and all that, and having God as my anchor and everything like that. But just having the anchor, I know enough, it kept me going for sure. But here's the thing. I can only imagine what it could be like to not have an anchor, to not have hope. I can only imagine the extreme despair, the self-destructive behaviors and tendencies that would come and be born out of all that pent-up hurt, pain, and emotion. I can only imagine what that would be like. Because, and I say I can only imagine is because I had hope. Even in my darkest moments, even when I was down and out, I always had my hope. My anchor has always been God. So, but I can only imagine if I had no hope. Just take a moment for a second, all right? I want you to take a moment. I want you to think about this. Imagine someone placed you in a dark room, a very large, dark room. And there was absolutely no light anywhere. None. What kind of chance do you have at escaping that room? Is it even possible to escape that room? You have no idea. They may have locked all the doors. There may be no doors. Maybe they put you in there and sealed it up and it's just a big square place, dark. You can grope around forever. Or imagine this. Maybe there is a door and it's locked and there's a key in this very large, dark room. And your job is to not find that key. You have no idea if you went over the same place over and over again. You have no idea where that key could possibly be. That's what it's like to have those emotions pent up, buried deep inside, and then not have any hope. It's like trying to find that key. It's like trying to find that door with no light, because hope is a light. And a lot of times people liken hope to a light. And that's exactly what it is. That's what that anchor is. That anchor is a light. But imagine not having that light. And it makes sense. I'll say this. I'm not promoting any type of self-destructive behavior at all on this podcast. Y'all know me by now. I would never, ever, ever promote that, ever. All I'm saying is I can understand where these people who maybe they're doing drugs, they're on alcohol, they self-injure, some people that commit suicide. I can understand why they would think to choose those behaviors. Because if you don't feel there's any hope, if you don't feel there's any way out, you only have two options. One, get yourself in a state where you're numbing the pain constantly, or remove yourself from life altogether. But I'm here to tell you guys, and this is my audience, right? Those of you who are walking around right now with that same pit that keeps overflowing that nobody knows about. Those of you who know how to put on the face and put on the show and do the dance and all that stuff like that, and smile and all that stuff, even though you're dying on the inside. That's who my audience is. That's who this is for. Anyone else who comes along, I'm not saying y'all can't be here. You're welcome. I love to have you guys here, but I'm just trying to say, like, that's where this is born from. This is coming from. It's coming from that place. That's why I want to give people hope. Those who are on the edge, I want to pull you back. I don't want you jumping over the edge. I don't want you going on drugs. I don't want you going on alcohol. I don't want you killing yourself. I don't want you injuring yourself. I don't want you walking around depressed. I don't want you covering up all your pain with success. I don't want you keeping people at arm's length. I want you to have a full life that you deserve. I want you to have that hope. I want you to realize that it is possible to get out of all of that mess, get out under all of it. It's possible to empty that tank altogether and never fill it up again. That's who my audience is. That's who I'm here for. That's who I'm speaking to. Because I know you can't be everything for everybody. I understand that. I completely understand that. And this is not about chasing anybody away. That's not what this is about. This is just about defining and just giving you guys, letting you know where this is coming from, who I'm talking to. And the thing is, guys, my audience has no race. My audience has no gender. Right? It's not, oh, I'm only for women, or I'm only for men, or I'm only for black men, or black women, or white women, or white men. No, because guess what? What I realized is that whether you're black, white, Asia, Indian, like, it doesn't matter where you're from. Chinese, Japanese, it does not matter. We are all walking around. There's so many of us walking around with this same pain and hurt, and we're scared to share it. We're scared to open up because we're scared what people are going to say, and scared what people are going to think, and scared how we're going to be treated. The people from all walks of life, young, old, that experience this. So I'm not just here for, oh, you have to be 23 and to 25 years old in this certain demographic and da-da-da-da. No, because I know there's children right now that are experiencing this. Kids in elementary school experience this. Kids in middle school, in high school, college, career. Like, there's people across the board. There's moms and dads that experience this. There are people across this world. There are people that are poor that experience this. There are people that are rich that experience this. There are people in every single walk of life that experience this same pain and this same hurt. They're the same people who possibly contemplated suicide, people who've been on drugs or are on drugs now or on alcohol, who are trying to numb the pain. There are people trying to numb the pain in pleasure, numb the pain with food. There are so many people across the globe that are experiencing this, and I just can't sit by idly and say nothing. I can't just sit by idly and do nothing. I have to speak. I have to let you know it is possible to get rid of that pain and that hurt and that rejection and that neglect and those feelings of not being loved. It is possible to live and have a full life. That is my audience. That is who this is for. So if you can identify with that, if there's been a time where you felt you couldn't be yourself, there's a time where you felt like you were rejected and you couldn't speak about it, or you felt hurt and couldn't speak about it, and you were offended and couldn't speak about it, this is for you. This is for you. Because I don't want anyone else to experience what I've experienced. And I don't know what other people's tolerance levels are. Some people may not be able to take as much as I have. And honestly, there might be other people who have taken a whole lot more than what I have. I guarantee, and not even maybe, I guarantee it. I've been reading Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, and just listening to the horrific experiences that he experienced within the camps, the concentration camps in Nazi Germany. I was like, oh my gosh. It's like not even like chapter after chapter. It's like line after line. Oh my gosh. What? Oh my gosh. But just like Viktor Frankl, I'm sharing this stuff. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about these experiences because you're not alone. That's the lie that I told myself. That's the lie I was told. That's the lie society sold me, that you're alone. If you feel like this, you're the problem. You're alone. That's not the case. I tell people as much as I possibly can, we have more in common than we have that's different. We live in a world right now that's doing everything in their power to separate us to the minutia. They might even try to separate us by the length of our fingernails eventually. They're doing everything to separate us. But when you sit down and you talk with your brothers and you talk with your sisters, I'm not talking about family, I'm not talking about blood, I'm talking about our brothers and sisters in humanity, you will realize that just because we look different, it has nothing to do with how we feel and the experiences we've had. We have so much in common. And I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one who's had to put on for the world and hide all my emotions and hide my hurt and hide my fears and hide my shame and hide all these things. I know I'm not the only one that tried to fill those gaps and that pain with food and pornography and success and all stuff like that. I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not. So I'm here to pull people back from the edge, guys. That's my purpose. I'm here to pull people back from the edge. I'm here to inspire hope. I'm here to show you not just that there is hope, but give you the steps and what you guys need to overcome, and so that you can not stay in that situation, not stay in that hurt, in that pain, in that funk that has been destroying you for so many years. Because I don't want you to do that. Guys, I love you. If I can't see you yet, eventually I'm going to be on a circuit. I'm going to be all the way around. I'm going to see everybody. But guys, I love you. That's why I'm doing this. I love you. You need to hear this. You need to hear it. I love you. I love you unconditionally. You need to hear that. We all need to hear that. And it's about, hey, listen, it's about as genuine as I can possibly be. Mind you guys, again, like I said, this is off the cuff. This is straight from the heart. I love you guys. I want the best for you guys. That is my audience, guys. That's who I'm speaking to. So some people may say, yeah, you're still too vague, man. You need to titrate that down, you know. They need to have a certain diagnosis, or they need to be a certain color, or they need to be a certain age, or they need to be a certain gender. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not good at excluding people. I'll be 100%. I'm not good at excluding people that need help. Quick story. I'm walking down the hall today, as busy as it can be. And this student is their third time reaching out to me today. It's like, oh, I need to talk to you, Dr. Keith. I need to talk to you, Dr. Keith. I need to talk to you, Dr. Keith. And so I wanted to say to her, I will get to you as soon as I can. I wanted to. But I looked her in the eye and I took a deep breath. And I sat down on a little windowsill ledge near the bathroom in our school. And I started talking with her because what she needed was important. And again, one of the biggest things for me is I want to be the person for others who I needed when I was growing up. And I needed someone that if I were to reach out to, they would, no matter how busy they were, they would take time and they would listen to me. So I sat with that little girl for about 30 minutes talking about what the thing that was bothering her, the thing that was going on. And I didn't leave until she was secure in knowing that this was going to be taken care of. This situation was going to be taken care of. I could have rushed and said, nah, I'm busy. I'll get to you when I get to you. But I sat down with her and I had the conversation. Guys, it's the same thing here. It's the exact same thing here. I'm sitting down with y'all. We're having a conversation. I want what's best for you guys. I don't want you to go down those deep, dark places that I've been to. Because guess what? Some people will go there and they just don't come back. And I'm not just talking about suicide. Some people damage themselves so much with drugs and alcohol and so many other things. You know, food. You know, food can be a drug too. And they do so much damage to themselves, they just don't come back. They're just not the same. I don't want anybody to have to go through that. I don't want anyone to have to experience that. It's not in this, it's just not right. We shouldn't have to. Right? We just shouldn't have to. So guys, I love you guys. No really application today, guys. This really was just me sharing my heart with y'all, letting you know why I do what I do and who I do it for. So guys, if you find someone that, you know, maybe they fit that mold, right? You find someone who might be hiding their emotions, that might be hurt and pain, you know, and not wanting to share it, you know, send them over here, guys. Send them over here. Show them some of the videos. Show them the unconditional love video. Show them the don't give up video. Show them the personal responsibility video. Show them the love has boundaries video. Show them one of the videos, guys. Let them come in. Let them get the help they need, and we're gonna keep this train going, guys. We're gonna keep this train going. I love you all. It's been great. I'm gonna be back. And also, just a little preview, We're going to be going back, and I did not forget about personal responsibility. I know it's like, oh, we're going into the prep program. I know, I didn't forget. This is all part of the process, right? So we're going to take a step back, and we're going to start talking about the application in the Do Not Give Up series. So we're going to go back to application within finding your anchor. We're going to go into application of setting your mind. We're going to go into application of keep trying, because I feel it's very important. I'm all for the rah, 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 but the rah, 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 the emotion wears off. Like, especially if you're just watching a video. You might watch this video and be like, yes, I'm pumped, I'm ready to go. But as the day goes on and life starts, all that energy, all that goes from to oh man, I'm tired, I want to take a break. So we need some application so that you guys can not only get that energy, but also get that progress. I'll be back. I'll see you all again. I love you all. Y'all take care. Have a great, awesome, and blessed day. And remember, FCS Prep, real change right now. And we're improving the world by improving you. Y'all take care.